Hello and welcome to part 3 of my little videos around playful magic, ways that you can add play and magic and manifestation into your life. So we've talked about going for walks, that was video number 1, and how that works. We've talked about journaling and the power of journaling in video number 2. And today I'm going to talk about something that I particularly love to do, which is improv. So you might have heard of improv, you might not have heard of improv or know what it is. Sometimes it's called impro, sometimes it's called improv. And basically it's a form of theatre where everything you perform, you make up on the spot. So you can rehearse the principles of improv, but if you're doing a show like I'm going to do on Friday, we've rehearsed the structure of the show, but the actual show is created in the moment. You create the characters, the dialogue, the songs if it's a musical, the story, like it's all created at the same time as performing it. And when I talk about doing improv with people, quite often they're like, oh my God, I could never get on stage and do improv. But you don't start by doing it on stage. You start by being in a room with people who are equally as nervous as you, playing games and getting back into the childlike, playful, embodied self-expression that we used to have when we were kids. So if, like me, you were highly imaginative as a child and you spent a lot of time playing imaginary games or pretending to be different characters or pretending to be grown-ups, whatever, with friends or siblings, and that was one of your favorite ways to play, which it certainly was for me, a big dressing up box. And like today, we're going to be pop stars, gymnasts, a teacher, we're going to be some kind of fantastical thing, and you make up a story together, and that's the game. And basically it's the adult version of that you get to do on stage. And one of the reasons I love it is, well, there's lots of reasons I love it. So I love it because it taps me into that imagination, the childlikeness. Now, when we're doing manifestation, one of the things that people talk about a lot is visualization. Now, I'm highly visual, but there's also a thing about imagination, which is kind of similar, overlaps, but it doesn't have to be visual. Like we can imagine in lots of different ways. But if we want to manifest something that we perceive as being in the future and bring it into now, we can use that vivid imagination. We can think about it, we can talk about it, we can make it real in lots of different ways. We can play our future selves in the now, like they're a character in improv. We can, go for a walk and imagine that we're walking in a city that we want to visit, or we can sit in our house and drink a cup of coffee and imagine that we're in a different location entirely. So we can use that imagination. So improv is great for firing up your imagination for sure. It's also really, really good to get us into our bodies, because a lot of the time we can be very static in the modern world. People sit in cars or on public transport, or they sit at desks, they sit at computers, they sit on their phones. And we might move our bodies if we're doing, a class in something, maybe a fitness class, or we might go for a walk or do some kind of sport. It's really, really good to be playing in your body, like letting it move how it wants to move, like pretending to be a different character. And really, it's a full kind of embodiment. It's imagination, it's voice, it's face, it's body, it's everything, energy, like becoming a different character, but also the confidence to be able to let things flow through, to say what needs to be said in the moment. And the more you do improv, the more that the inner editor, the inner filter kind of decreases. Because a lot of the time we're like, what would happen if I say this? How can I say this best? And overthinking and planning everything. And I'm quite in the overthinking category if I get stuck in that. But in improv, there's no time for overthinking. Like there's barely time for thinking, because you're literally creating a performance or a scene or playing a game, and the speed of it is actually part of the process. So you don't have time for the overthinking. So it's great for bypassing your overthinking. So improv, it's really fun, gets you back into your childlike state, really good for imagination, which is great as part of manifestation. It's good to get you into your body, which is really good for manifestation, because a lot of our deep wisdom lives in our body. And if we spend our time living in our head, it's very difficult to tap into our physical signs and our messages and our emotions and things that flow through our more physical selves. It's also just really fun Like fun and play and levity are such high frequency states. And I think a lot of manifestation and spirituality and personal growth and inner work, it's important to do the deep healing, but it's also really great to play and have fun. If you listen to Abraham Hicks, you know, she's always like, God, you know, we're all, she didn't say that, but we're taking it all so seriously. It's about playing with ideas, playing with our imagination, playing with possibilities, playing with energy. And if we're in an improv class and we're using our playfulness to create in the moment, that's literally what manifestation is. So it's a really good kind of rehearsal to do that. The other thing about it is that the people who do improv generally are pretty collaborative people, because doing improv is a collaborative thing. No one is in charge. If you've got a scene with 3 people in it or a show with 7 people in it, nobody's in charge. There's no script. There's sometimes a director just helping the scenes to move forward or to stop them when they're done, for people who aren't so experienced. But the whole thing is a collaborative co-creation with everybody's different skills and different ways of showing up, and everyone's ideas get popped in, and then you create this beautiful collaborative performance or game or show or story that is so much, because nobody knows where it's going or what's going to happen. So it's kind of a surprise to everybody. So being surprised and delighted is also another really great part of it. Being in a collaborative space, moving your body, and just hanging out with people that love to play. So that is why I love doing improv. And most cities, big cities, certainly have a place where you could do a taster session or try it out. You can watch it online and just really get into the idea that if we're playing with this kind of childlike imagination, embodiment, and letting things flow through in the moment, that's literally how playful magic and manifestation works. So I'll share another tip again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.